Hello everyone, welcome. It is Saturday, August the 26th, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about my cross stitching today. Well, it's been a fun day. I got to Zoom with the magazine monthly cross stitch group. Haven't been able to do that in a while, but today I was able to do that, and that was so much fun. We talked about our cross sticks for the AB Singo. We talked about retreats and what we were stitching on. It was lovely. And I got some stitching done at the same time. I wanted to work on one of my prompts. I have one challenge I'm working on this week before, I guess, the end of the month. This challenge actually goes all the way through to September the 8th, but I would like to finish it before then. But I'm not going to worry too much about it because right now I have free days to stitch whatever I want. And it turned out that one of the prompts allowed me to stitch on something I wanted to stitch on. So I went ahead and made enough stitches in it to more than meet the prompt. So I pulled out my Welcoming Christmas, which is this little animal stack here. And no, I'm not putting this on a sweater. I think that's cute as it can be, but I'm not doing that. I'm just stitching it so I can make it as probably a stand-up or frame it for Christmas. Interestingly enough, the reason this met the prompt is that you were to stitch on something that had been released between the years 1985 and 2022. And this is from a magazine. I've mentioned this before. For the Love of Cross Stitch, and if you look there, it was published in January 1996. So it fell within that range of time so I could work on it. When I started working on it today, I had a leg to finish in the front. I had two small colors to do in that. And then I could start working on the cow's head because I had just done the wreath around its neck on that one side before. But today, stitching 469 stitches, I almost finished the head. Look at that beautiful cow. Isn't he cute? All right, so to answer your question, no, those two stitches are not stitched in the original. They're just there. This cow now needs another ear, and it's going to need the horns, and then a little bit left of the wreath to go behind it, and then there's a chicken sitting on its head. And then all the cross stitch will be done, and then I back stitch this thing. And there's a pretty decent amount of back stitch in it, I will say. Now this piece itself is on my board for AB Singo for a total of 4 times in the month of September. So that would be another 400 stitches. Now, in all honesty, that may not be enough to do the entire chicken, finish the cow, and back stitch it at 400 stitches. But working on it 4 separate times, I'm really hopeful that it will allow me to finish it. And if it's not finished with the 4 calls, then I'm probably going to finish it at the end of the month, because again, it'll only go through day 25 on the calls. So here you go, Welcoming Christmas. I'm so pleased with the progress I got in there today. Really, really happy with that. So I'll put it back in my little Christmas bag. I'll be ready to work on it again when it's called in September. And in addition to that, I have several pieces that I really would like to see finished next month. Autumn Bell Pull is 1. Welcoming Christmas is 2. So I have some finishes I want to make next month. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that. Hey, Coco. Here's Coco. Hey, baby. So she's just come in from outside. Dad's cutting the grass. And I see you, baby. I see you. And she's checking out what Mama's doing up here. That usually happens when Dad goes outside or leaves. and Coco comes running to find me to make sure she's got somebody to hang out with. So today on our Zoom call with the Magazine Monthly Challenge group, I got really tickled because a lot of our pets made appearances and we got to meet each other's fur babies. It was wonderful. That was quite nice. Coco did come up to see me, but Coco doesn't like to climb in your lap, and so I can't get her up high enough usually for anybody to see. So she didn't make an appearance that anybody could tell, but she was right here at my feet. Hey. So I will let you get back to what you were doing, and I'm gonna go play with Coco a little bit and get her settled down for the evening, and then I might get to stitch a little more, but whatever I work on the rest of the evening, I'll probably show you tomorrow. Isn't that right? I wish you could see her. She's so sweet. Okay. Happy stitching, everybody. Talk to you soon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It is Monday. It is August 28th, and I'm here to give you a bit of a stitching update. Well, today was an exciting day for many reasons. Heard from my son. He is still planning to come visit this weekend. He's going to cook for me this weekend. Excited about that. I got to stitch with my friend Juliana today. We had a wonderful day of stitching and talking and visiting, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So Juliana, thank you for that. And the other part is my stitching. I was looking yesterday at my whip go calls for September, trying to work them into my plans, and I noticed that one of the calls was for a very small piece called Love Mom by Hinzeit, and that's the pattern for it. And it's precious. It's really, really cute. I had it in my stash, and I had put it on my whip go board so I would stitch it. And my plan for this was to stitch this up because it's pretty small, make it into a card for Mother's Day for my earthly mom, Stephanie's mother. And so that's what I wanted to do. And that's why I put it on my whip go board when I was planning it last September. So the number was called for this September, and so I was starting to look at when I would want to put that in my calendar to get it started. And it hit me all of a sudden. One of the ladies that I enjoy watching on FlossTube is Julie, and her daughter, Alyssa, have a channel called Stitching at the Cabin. And they are delightful. They are so much fun to watch. I've talked to Julie on the phone before. I feel like she's a friend. And we even have an agreement that at some point in time, we're going to start working on our chatelaines together. She's got to finish one she's working on now, and she's getting fairly close, and hoping maybe this year. And then we're going to do alpine gardens together. I have already started mine, but I haven't stitched on it in years. So it'll be like starting it all over again. And she hasn't started hers yet, so we'll get busy working on it together at some point in time. But I bring her up because Julie's mother has found out she has cancer. And Julie has started a nice thing for her mom by asking any of her viewers that want to start something new in honor of her mother. And she has a hashtag to share it with everyone. And I encourage you to go to Stitching at the Cabin and look at their latest video and see if you'd like to be a part of that. But I certainly wanted to be. And I couldn't think, what do I have? What do I have that I could start that would be meaningful and would be appropriate for her mother in this situation? And then I thought of this when I saw it. So, Julie, I started this on behalf of your mother early. I didn't wait till September. I started it last night because I'm starting it in honor of your mom. I still plan on stitching it and sending it to my mom, but I started it when I did, and I'm stitching it thinking of her all along the way and praying for her. And today, while I was stitching with my friend Juliana, I finished it. I even put the charm on it. The charm says Mom in the inside of the heart there. And so now this is ready to be fully finished into the Mother's Day card that I'm going to do. But I'm going to take a picture of it, and I'm going to go back to Julie's floss tube, because I've got to figure out the hashtag. Something with grandmama in it, I think, but I've got to go back and look at what it really is, and then I can post it on Instagram, I think is where they want it, so that her mom can see it. But Julie, much love and prayers for your mother, and Alyssa for your grandmama. And so that's what I've been working on yesterday and this afternoon. So that's where I'm at. I have also gone back to working on my Halloween Quaker, because for some prompts recently I stitched part of a motif and I didn't finish it. I tried to finish the motif once I started, and I had to hit a prompt with it, and I put it away because I was working on another prompt, and then later I came back to it and I stitched more on it trying to finish it. And I will share with you how far I got at this point. I did finish the purple inside of it, and now all I have to do are 3 more of these cats, 1 in each section, and that motif will be finished. And then I'll have a partial motif here, and that'll finish the row all the way across. I think that's awesome. Awesome, awesome. So since I'm here at the end of the month, and I have finished my acrostics, and I have finished all my daily 30 challenges, the last 2 challenges in the daily 30 group, I did alternate stitches, which means I added 100 stitches to what I was working on and could just count whatever whip I wanted. It didn't have to meet what the question was or the prompt was. And I did that because I had things I wanted to stitch on. And one of those was Autumn Bell Pull. So I'm going to show that to you as well. I've been trying to put 100 stitches in it a day because I realized when I saw how slow it was moving along, there's so much confetti in here, so much confetti in these leaves, that even though I've put it on my board for AB Singo 3 times for next month, that won't finish it. That's only 300 stitches. And this right in here is this with the 2 little acorns, all that right there is around 300 stitches. And so if I were to do that, I would only get maybe these leaves, a couple of leaves finished up. But I've got an acorn here to finish, and I've got another big leaf down here. So I'm not going to finish it next month if I don't put some extra time into it, not stitching only 100 stitches at a time. So at the end of the month here, I was trying to put in at least 100 stitches a day from the 24th through the end of the month. Today was about the second or third day I've done that, trying to get 100 stitches a day in there to get it closer to a finish, so that when it is called in September, I can finish it. So that's kind of what I've been working on. So I have a Zoom call tonight with some friends, and I'm hoping to finish up working on this motif, or at least getting it pretty close to being finished. Tomorrow is a busy day. Coco gets to go to the groomer. I get to have my hair cut and colored. And so I don't know that I will get to stitch until afternoon, probably late afternoon. And so I don't know that it'll be a big stitching day. So I'll still try to put my 100 stitches into my Autumn Bell Pull. And then I'll have to decide if there's anything else that I want to throw some extra stitches into before I start working on all of the things for September. But the other big thing I realized today, that I won't be at our stitching meetup in October. I will be traveling. And that is the month that we are going to share our fully finished objects that we swapped. We had finished stitching that we swapped back in July at our stitching meetup. And we're supposed to fully finish them without knowing who it's for. Just finish it the best that you think fits what that has been stitched as. And then you can turn it in secretly back to our member at the stitching meetup to be given back to its rightful owner, and we'll reveal all of the fully finished items at that time. So I've got to finish mine, and I've got to get it to either Donna or Teresa, the lady who's running this exchange, so that she can get it to its rightful owner. So I'm excited about that. I need to get that done, so I need to look at that. I'm planning on getting that done this month while my husband is hiking, so that you know, I can work on it and leave it out to dry if I'm gluing something or anything like that. So I'll let you see it. I'll film it before I give it away, and I'll have to save it until the exchange has occurred. But I'll definitely hold that so I can share it with you. I think that's everything fit to print. So I have caught you up on all the stitching I've been doing, and hopefully we'll have more to share with you soon. And in the meantime, happy stitching, everybody. Hi everybody, welcome. It is August 31st. We are here at the end of the month. I have been working kind of quietly, I guess, on a whip that I want to finish next month, and I made sure of that in 2 ways. I was putting extra stitches in it every day, about 100 stitches a day, 200 stitches, whatever I could get in there. And I also put it on my AB Singo board 3 times so that I would have at least 3 days to stitch on it. And I was naive enough to think in the beginning that I could split up what I had left into possibly 5 sections. And I convinced myself that I would stitch at least 1 or 2 of those sections before the end of the month, this month, so that I only had the 3 sections to work on when they were called, so I could finish it next month. And I'm going to share with you what it is. It's my autumn bell pull. I'm working on the letter N, and you can see those leaves are extremely colorful. They're mostly browns and kind of a burnt oranges and things like that, but there's a lot of different shading in there. A lot. And so I had tried to break this up into like this leaf and this leaf and this leaf would be my 3 parts, but I had this leaf to do, I had all the lettering to do, I had all the acorns to do, and so then I thought, well, let me break this up and do it together and put this together. And then I just did an experiment. I stitched 100 stitches because that's what you stitch for the AB Singo. And I barely made a dent in this thing. I didn't even finish a leaf with 100 stitches. So then I finished the leaf to see how many stitches it would actually take me, and it was closer to 400, 500 stitches to do a leaf. It's a lot of stitching in this block. Anyway, to make sure that I'm going to be able to finish it next month, I have been stitching on it some every day, whatever time I have extra, since the 25th. So now here it is, the 31st, and I am going to show you where I'm going to enter the month of September with this piece. So here's where I got to. I'm excited. So it is complete down to here, except for the back stitching just in the leaves, the ribs of the leaves. And then this leaf is pretty much complete right here, but then of course I've got the bottom of it here. I have an entire leaf right here, and I have to back stitch that one acorn. So it's doable. Now that I've gotten it to this point, then working on it 3 different times, I should be able to finish it, but I will have to stitch more than 100 stitches on all 3 occasions because it's that much. It's just that much. I probably have a good 200 or more stitches left just in this leaf. I haven't even started this leaf, and there's going to be a good 500 or so stitches in here. It's amazing how detailed it is and how beautiful it is and how large it is. This is a big piece. I have not unrolled this since I started on it. I have rolled it down, working my way down, and I have not opened it since. I have not looked at it. I don't even remember some of it. You know, I'd have to really stop and think. I wouldn't know to tell you which ones have the purple in it and which one, you know. So I can't wait to open it up and be able to fully finish it into a bell pull, and I am going to make it into a bell pull. However, I'm going to show you one more time. This is what I'm starting with, starting tomorrow for the calls. Now, as it turns out, we've gotten our call for tomorrow, and it is not autumn bell pull. I was hoping it would be. I had 3 chances for it to be, but it wasn't. So that's okay. Tomorrow my call is for spring quilt. I have to do 100 stitches on it, and so I will do that. Hopefully first thing in the morning. My husband is supposed to be hiking. He hasn't left yet. We have had some issues. We've had different things that came about. He decided to stay home and help me get Coco to the groomer and back home, and take a little more time for him to refine his packing and eliminate some things he didn't want to take, and he didn't rush, and so he hasn't left yet. And since then we had a hurricane coming through, and he wanted to wait that out and make sure he wasn't going to get out on the trail and just be stuck in a howling rainstorm and mud and everything forever, for the whole time he was there. So he's kind of postponed his hike just a few days. He's going to go, and he has the luxury of going whenever he's ready. And so I'm hoping that will that he'll feel comfortable doing that soon, so that he can get started, because the sooner he goes, the sooner I get him back home. So that'll be good. Well, thanks for letting me share with you where I wound up at the end of the month on my autumn bell pull, and I will look with excitement and fun for tomorrow to work on my spring quilt, and we'll be going from there. I have some friends that are coming to stitch with me on Saturday. My son called to confirm with me tonight that he is not going to have to work all weekend. They must have gotten all of their equipment and stuff prepared. He is going to be able to stay with me a couple of nights, Friday night and Saturday night, which is great because Friday night we're going to be cooking for the group on Saturday, and we're going to do some pre-cooking, some prep. And then Saturday, he's going to cook us a nice lunch. And then he'll stay Saturday night here with me after everybody's left and probably help me put everything back to order. And then he'll go home early Sunday morning. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see him. I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. And since I've seen him last, he's gotten a promotion at work. So I can't wait to talk to him about that and just see how he feels about it. So that's my stitching, and that's my life update, and that wraps up the month of August, and we're headed into September 1st in the morning. So I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, I hope you've had a great end of your month. I hope August has been good to you, and I will look forward to sharing with you what I've been stitching and hearing from you what you've been stitching. So have a great month, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Good afternoon, everyone. It is September 1st. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about my stitching today and how things have gotten off to a great start. First of all, the couple of bingo games that I'm in, I have tied together. And so when I say AB Singo, my call today was for the letter Q, and that called for Spring Quilt. My other bingo game that I'm playing, I'm going to use Spring Quilt for whatever number of slot is called for today, because they just call a number and you have to find that number on your board. So on that board, I put for the item to be stitched on every single block, whatever AB Singo was called. That way I'm hitting both of them, and that way I continue to participate with both groups, because it just could get to be too much the more I keep adding. So I had to double dip that whole event. So when I talk about my AB Singo bingo game, it's the same piece for each of them. Fortunately, and I try to do this on purpose, whenever I'm working on acrostics and a bingo board, I try to make sure that I put the same projects in both, so that when one is called, I can go ahead, and stitch enough to meet those prompts. And that's what I did today. So what was started out as a spring quilt, 100 stitches for my bingo game, turned into also meeting a 300 stitch requirement for my daily 30 acrostic, and that acrostic is school days. So I have an acrostic in daily 30 school days. I have an acrostic in the magazine monthly challenge group, and that's cactus. And then there's an acrostic in the 24 hours of cross stitch Facebook group, and that one is on the spot. Well, there's an S in every one of them, but I'm not using the S in my magazine monthly challenge for spring quilt. I had identified a different S for that, and it's going to be called later, so I'm not going to worry about it. But today I did the 300 stitches required for my daily 30, because the S in school days, the first S, stood for spring quilt. And in my 24 hours of cross stitch, on the spot, the S that begins the part of the word spot was my spring quilt. So if you're counting, that's 4 prompts with one set of stitching, one item, one project. I stitched twice. I stitched 100 and I posted, and then I stitched the next 200 to add to the first 100 for the others. So here's where I got to. All to say, I stitched 302 stitches this morning, up through this afternoon. I did take a break and have a lunch. But isn't that coming along? I have almost finished the roof part. Right here is the bottom of the roof on this side, but right here is the beginning of a quilt. You see this little gap up here? That's the hanger, like the wire or the rope that the quilt is hanging over. And this is actually a part of the quilt right in there. I think this is like a silo or something. So I'm loving the way that roof looks like a tin roof. It really does. Stoney Creek is fabulous. So I did, as I said, 302 stitches in it total today. I still have some tree to do up here, and then it'll be solid to right here. And I actually only have this part of the quilt and this part of the silo to finish the portion of a page. It would be a page finish for the quilt, and then there'll be another page that has this corner on it and another page that has this side on it. So this is broken up into several pieces, so I've just been working on 1 page worth of pattern in here, trying to get that corner done. But I think it's beautiful. The colors are just, they're just beautiful. I think they're well saturated and they look really nice. So I am enjoying that. That was a wonderful stitch this morning. So that's what I've done so far. It is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon though. I had to do some housework this morning. Then I stitched a little bit this morning. I had a phone call this morning with my sister, and that was a treat. That was an extra for this week because she's traveling today. And then, of course, I had to take my precious one, my little fur baby, for her walk this morning. So there's been a lot going on, and then I finished my bingo call for the day, and then, of course, turned it into meeting a prompt on everything else. I also had to take time this morning to go into Facebook and set up all these prompts. I don't know how you manage it, but when I do a prompt in a Facebook group, I put a post in there that says I'm participating, and it sets up the prompt with all of what I'm going to stitch for each thing. And so then I save it so that when I want to put something, a picture back in there, you know, go in and fill out a comment that I've finished that one, I just hit my saved post and it pops right up, and then I can keep adding to it. And so I don't have to go searching for it, which is great. Love that. So what I have left to do today, I need to set up my stitching room area downstairs for some friends that are coming over tomorrow to stitch with me. So I will be rearranging the furniture a little bit so that everybody can get lights around them. And I prefer to stitch with the tabletop, so I'll be putting a little fold-up table in front of one of the chairs for me, and we'll go from there. But I need to get that done, and I'm trying to get that done before my son gets here, so he doesn't have to help me move things around. We can go to dinner, and then we can start cooking for tomorrow. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Other than that, I went on today at noon, and I put in my form, so I'm trying for StitchCon. I'm going to see if I get in this year. I did hear through the grapevine that there were 600 forms submitted in the first 4 minutes. So I hope I was quick enough. Who knows? We'll know in a month, won't we? We'll know if we get our invoices. So anyway, I've got fingers crossed. I'm hoping to get to go this year. My friend Donna's trying to get in. Our friend Mary and her daughter April are trying to get in, and we'd like to road trip together and, you know, maybe stay next to each other at the hotel and share a table with some other folks. But the 4 of us would love to kind of do this together. We've never done that before. Donna's never been before. Mary and April have been, and I have been. I think Mary's been more than I have. I've only been the one time. So I'm really looking forward to going back again. I think that would be fun to see Steph and Pam and Barbara and everybody again. That would be lovely. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I set an alarm, and I was sending Donna a reminder to make sure she remembered, and she was sending me one at the same time. I think they crossed in the air because they came across pretty quickly together. But we hope we got in. So we'll see. 4 minutes, that's pretty quick. Okay, that's all the news I think I have to share with you this morning. So thanks for letting me rattle on the start of September. We'll get it started with a bang, and we'll go from there. Happy stitching, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Coco and I are here to say good morning and to show you what we were able to accomplish late last night after my son and I had dinner, and we worked a while in the kitchen making some homemade bolognese sauce for today. We sat and visited, watched some funny YouTube videos, and then it was time for my son to hit the hay. He goes to bed early because he normally gets up really early in the morning. So Coco and I came up here and we did some stitching. She sat over there and napped while I stitched. And I was able to pull out one you haven't seen in a while. I put it down for the in on the spot in my 24 hours of cross stitch acrostic. And that's the only place it was. So since I didn't have a minimum number of stitches that I needed to do, I decided to set a small goal for myself. I'll remind you of what this looks like. Neige at Montagne, or snow in mountains. And I'm working across the top here. The important thing to note is that the words Neige at Montagne are in a light blue kind of background color, and I didn't want those there. So I was removing them. In order to do that, you have to make sure that you complete any snowflake that it might have displaced any stitches from. So I've been doing this all the way across to try to get through that tasking because I have to watch it so carefully. And I was in this last section here, and I had done the white at the top, and that's all I had done. So, and I had part of the frame around it. I was missing a color in the frame. So last night I put in 281 stitches to get it finished, but I finished it. So here's the block that I finished last night. You can see there's quite a bit of snow in that block and a beautiful full snowflake that had to be symmetrical. So there you have it. So now that top row minus a few stitches in this border over here is complete. I'm so excited. And now that I have all of the sections done where I was removing stitches and having to count so carefully and look at the designs and that sort of thing, that part is done. There's a tiny, tiny section in here where the G dipped down, but it doesn't displace anything, so I can just ignore it and move on. So now I'm ready to start the next row, which is about double the height of these. The width, of course, is the same, but the height is about twice as much, and there's actually the beginnings of a scenery in there. There's the trees and the, looks like a church with a steeple in the back. So this is the next row that I would like to do across here. And my thoughts is that I would like to do it like a section here, a section here, a section here, and get that done. And I guess when I come across, I will probably finish that motif with it so that I'm not, you know, cutting it in the middle if that's doable. And then I think you get into the heaviest part of the stitching, which is this bottom row across here. But it's the one I'm looking the most forward to getting to. Isn't that interesting? This is one I am actually considering splitting up into pieces, sections, like I did my Kringles, to see if I couldn't get it finished in a year. I'm thinking this would be doable to finish in a year, 2024. Certainly not this year, but in 2024. So, you know, this could be a month. This might take 2 months. You might have to split that in half. And there's 3, and then maybe again 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 months into the year I could have it done. And that would give me plenty of wiggle room as well. So I'm thinking about it, and if I do that, I will let you know that. But I think it lends itself well to that. Really enjoying it. Now that I've gotten the top row completed and the words removed, I think that I'm going to work on this a lot more. And it's getting into the winter season before you know it. You know, we're into fall, and so the weather is a little bit cooler today. I'm not sure why, maybe the storms that came through, but I'm more in the mood to work on it now. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that with you to catch you up from last night. Today's call in my AB Singo is Royal Games 1, and it is about 8:30 in the morning. I have stitching friends arriving around 10. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my Royal Games 1. I only have to do 100 stitches for that prompt. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to get it done this morning so that I've met my prompt and I can just stitch on anything I want the rest of the day and visit. And so that's my plan. So I'm going to pull that out now and see if I can't get it done. And if I do before everybody gets here, I'll come back and share it with you. Happy stitching, everybody. Hi everyone, it is just a little bit later on the 2nd of September, and I got my little goal accomplished to get my bingo, ABC stitching done this morning before my company arrived. It's just a little after 9, probably around 9:15, and I'm gonna stop now, show you my progress. I've met the goal. I did 129 stitches on my Royal Games 1 on the Queen of Spade, and I worked my second color in her ruffle on her sleeve today, the light blue. It is so pretty, and I wanted to share it with you. So I did all of the light blue in here around on that sleeve, and that was 129 stitches, so it met the prompt of 100 stitches. And now I'm going to put it away and post my pictures on that Facebook group, and then I can stitch on anything else I want to meet a prompt. So I will look again at my acrostics and see if there's a piece that is only in one of them, or you know, a one-off kind of thing to where it wouldn't be called for anything else. And that's what I may try to stitch on today. I have an anchoring, I have an itch to pull out my autumn bell pull because it's getting really close. And I may take that too downstairs and work on that today as well. But you'll get to see everything I do, hopefully, later this evening. But I just wanted to share that little accomplishment with you before everybody got here, so I didn't forget, I guess. Anyway, I hope you have a great day of stitching, and I hope to have something else to come back and share with you a little bit later on. Happy stitching. Good evening, everyone. I think I'm back for my last report today. It's September the 2nd, just a lot later than the last time we spoke. We had a wonderful time stitching today. Myself and 3 other ladies at the house here, and my son was visiting this weekend. We had planned it that way, and he cooked us a fabulous lunch, and we all ate together, and then he took a nap while we stitched. He visited quite a bit, and then I think it worked out really for everyone. We all sat and talked and visited and stitched, and my son was in the same room with us, but he was gaming and had his earbuds in, so we weren't hearing anything, and I don't think he was really hearing much of what we were talking about either. But we were all in the room together, and Coco loved it, so she even let a couple of the ladies scratch under her chin. She is coming around. It was great. So I just wanted to tell you about how the stitching went after I reported on my AB Singo stitching this morning. I had looked back at my list of prompts, and I had decided that I was going to work on 2 today that were in my daily 30 group because they all require 300 stitches. And that way I could work on one until I met the goal, and then I could get to a good stopping point and I could work on a second one. And that way I only had to move 2 projects downstairs, and it would probably carry me most of the day, which it did, and I'm really, really grateful for that. In fact, I finished the second one up here because I actually wound up setting a small goal and going way over the 300 stitches. So let me tell you all about that. The first one I wanted to work on today was for my daily 30 group, which is an acrostic called School Days. And for one of those O's, I decided to use Hands-On Design, O for on, and I decided to pull out the Cranberry Christmas pattern that I have going already from Hands-On Design. And this is the one I've done these 3, and now I'm working on the final one right here. And I think you may recall, if you've been watching me for a little while, that I had started it in New Jersey, and I got 3 letters done, the B-E-R in cranberry in the white, and I was about to start stitching on it when I was at a retreat in Alabama just the next week. And one of the ladies there said, you know, I did my lettering in red. I didn't think the white showed up enough. So you see the lettering there is in white. And she showed me a picture on her phone of her finish, and I fell in love with it. And I said, I'm starting this over. So I did. And the last time I worked on it, I had stitched the BER again, but in the red. So today, I actually wound up finishing the word cranberry, and I got in 364 stitches, and I finished that word. So I did the rest of the letters in red, and then I went through and did the green on all of them and finished the first word there in that pillow. The next one will be Christmas, and then I've got greenery and, you know, not beads, but berries and things around it. And on the top of this one is a little house in a cake, looks like a cake dish. Anyway, I'm excited. That is good. That made some good progress on it. I am stitching this with a sulky pack that I ordered when I ordered this pattern. You can see they put it together for hands-on design for this very this pattern, Cranberry Christmas. So I'm excited that I got some work on this one done, and it was enough with the 364 stitches. It was more than enough to hit my 300 I needed in the daily 30 group. Now, I got back up here and discovered that I also used Cranberry Christmas in my monthly magazine, acrostic of cactus, and I used it in my 24 hours cross stitch acrostic, and I used it for the O as well on the spot. I did it for the second O for hands-on design again. And then my friend Donna today saved me. I'm telling you, she saved me a lot of work, because I had planned, when I first started working on Cranberry Christmas, I said, I'm going to stitch my first prompt for my daily 30 group, and I'm going to post it, and I'm just going to keep stitching and do the second one. And she said, what do you mean you're going to do the second one? I said, I'm going to have to use that O again, because School Days has 2 O's in it, and I'm going to have to use it again for on. And she said, in that group, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to use the exact same whip for the exact same letter in a second prompt. I went back in, I reread the instructions, and she was absolutely right. I totally missed it. So we got our heads together, us ladies that were here stitching today, and they helped me realize that my 13th colony by the bay has an ocean in it. It's the Bay of the Ocean, and so ocean starts with O. So I had planned on stitching on it anyway for a different acrostic, and so I just decided I would put at least 300 stitches in it. So I'm working on By the Bay, and I'm working on part 2 of By the Bay, and today I worked on a tree, and I finished a section of the tree, and then I stitched an entire second section of the tree. It's got 2 colors in it, and I wound up stitching 612 stitches in the tree, that tree right there. So I finished working on, I think it's this one that I finished. And working, I had one of the colors done, and I had to go in and put in the lighter green. And then this one, I did the entire tree section. And you can see there's a dark green and a lighter green to make it look sort of leafy and mottled in there. So I did, as I said, 612 stitches. So I'll back up and let you see where it is. Last time I worked on it, I worked on the shoreline and the boat. And then today I came on up and I worked in the trees. I felt like the trees would be easier to work on, talking to everybody. And it worked out really well to do it that way. So I have now finished this 13th colony for the O, for ocean, in my daily 30 group. And the nice part about that is I'm also using it for the T, and on the spot for the first T, which is in the 24 hours across stitch. And I am, I was looking to see, nope, not doing another one, so it's 2 of them. So let me go back there. I'm using it for the T in on the spot in my 24 hours of cross stitch. And it stands for 13th colony. I'm spelling out the word instead of putting in the number. And that's how I got my T there. And so it's going to hit 2 prompts today. So if you're counting, I've hit 5 prompts today. Isn't that amazing? I can hear Donna in the back of my mind already saying, of course you did. She loves to do that to me. She and I tease so much together, and we did that all day today. It was a lot of fun. So I'm excited. It's been a very productive day, a very fun day, full of stitching and fun, you know, friendship, good conversation, that sort of thing. Coco and I had a great walk today. She was so good today, y'all. She was just so good. She let me know that there were people here as people were arriving, and then when I opened the door to greet them, I said, come on, Coco, let's go help them. And she went right out the door with me and helped me bring them in, you know, helped them bring in their things. And once she knew we were bringing them in, she was fine. She quit barking at them. So again, she barked to announce each one's arrival, just to let me know, Mom, there's somebody here, you know. But today, as we were stitching and eating together and talking and visiting, we were all sitting in the living room, and Coco was propped up on her ottoman that she likes, and JT was sitting on that ottoman a lot too, playing his gaming, and so she was sharing it with him. And all of a sudden, she walked over to my friend Donna and just slowly put her little head out for Donna to scratch under her chin. And Donna scratched under her chin and loved on her. And later in the day, she let another friend of mine do the same thing. She's getting a little better about being social. I'm so proud of her. And it tickled Donna, I think, that she walked right over to her and just let her love on her. She hasn't done that in a while. And the last time she did it because she was jealous because I was loving on Harley. But Harley wasn't with us today, and she still went over and let Donna scratch under her chin. In fact, she let her do that several times during the course of the day. So that was fun. I was happy to see that. Y'all, when everybody started leaving, as they were walking out the door saying goodbye, all of a sudden Coco jumped up and grabbed my arm with both of her front paws and wrapped them around my arm and just clung to me, looking at me as if to say, you're not leaving, are you? Don't you go anywhere. It was sweet. Everybody picked up on it. Everybody said, oh, she's afraid you're leaving too. So I told her I was staying home. I wasn't going anywhere, and I was going to be right here with her. And that seemed to calm her down. And she's sleeping over there. But anyway, she was so good. And this morning, she didn't even come over and ask to go anywhere. She didn't ask for a walk. I had taken her outside here at the house. We have a little area made for her to use the bathroom. We call it her potty pit. And my husband had put fresh shavings out there and had really made it nice and fresh before he left. And I took her out this morning, and she did all of her normal stuff. And she didn't wait till we were walking. And I was kind of surprised, and I was kind of happy about that. And so then this morning, I offered to take her a couple of times, and she wasn't interested. So this evening, after everyone had left, she's following me around a little bit as I'm putting things away, cleaning up the kitchen, that sort of thing. And I turned and looked at her, and I said, is it time? And her ears perked up, and her eyes got really bright. She's watching me really close. And I just said, let's go for a walk. And she ran to the back door. She was so excited. But that lovely little puppy did not ask for a walk, did not demand a walk, did not bug me to do anything all day with her. She just was hanging out with us, but she wasn't, I mean, she came over to the couch several times for me to pet her and love on her for a minute, but she was fine. She was enjoying, I think, the company. Anyway, I took her for a walk this afternoon, and she came back and she was excited and ate her dinner and settled down next to me, and she's been going back and forth between her brother and me all day, kind of hanging out with both of us. She likes having him here. And I am so glad he's here till tomorrow. So anyway, we'll have a good evening. But I'm going to let you get back to what you were doing. I'm thrilled at how much stitching I got to do today. It's unprecedented. So thank you, ladies, for helping me stay situated and focused and get all that done today. That was wonderful. So thanks for letting me share it with you, and I'll hopefully be back to share you more stitching in the next few days. Happy stitching, everybody. Here is the foyer. We have our little chest here with the mirror, and what I have put here for you is my little metal tree with my Halloween paper ornaments. And then we've got my Jim Shore little witch and werewolf down there with them in the fall leaves. And here is my mantle for the fall. I've got my witchy-washy clothesline at the bottom there on the left, and then my lovely, I think it's Jump into Autumn, I think is the name of it, that I enjoyed so much stitching. And then on the top you've got my Saturday Evening Post cover, and then you've got your pumpkin farm on the end there, and an alphabet pumpkin. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see them. And then there's Be Thankful, and then my Brenda Gervais Harvest Fields, something Fields, I think. I can't remember the name of it right now. And then that might be Jumpin' Jack Frost, I think is the name of that. It's coming back to me a little bit. And I took an arrangement that I had of beautiful dried flowers that were in 2 baskets that were tiered, one on top of the other, and I broke it apart this year. And I've used those basket contents to dress the top of my mantle. I think it's really pretty. Never tried that before. And then right over here, you'll see my first pillow I did. This is Autumn Arbor by the Drawn Thread. I think it's really pretty. And I have it just sitting on the bookshelf there to decorate the bookshelf a little bit. I'm starting to load in the bookshelf, haven't finished it yet. But that is my trade out for autumn for my mantle. I hope you like it. Are you sleepy? Are you sleepy? You have sleepy eyes. Are you ready to go to bed? Ready to go night-night?